What is up, everybody? Philly Flyver here today, and today we have some breaking news. The Eagles made a few roster moves, things of that nature, as well as some other things I'd like to talk about, such as the coaches talking and things of that nature. Without further ado, let's fly on into it. So, firstly, in my opinion, obviously not just because it's the order, however, but I feel like they went from important to least important. O-line, Joe Stoutland, he's had a lot of interesting things to say. He said Becton has been impressive, that he's very surprised with his football IQ and his versatility, that he didn't know he could play multiple positions, but obviously he plans to take advantage of that and things of that nature. He says he's a fun guy to coach. He said that in terms of this the Steen start to the Suo-Opeta thing, Steen handled it professionally, obviously. Steen showed definite improvement thus far in OTAs. He checks a lot of boxes, things of that nature, as well as the next guy, Cam Jurgens, who we talked about. He was highlighting how Jason Kelsey helped develop him in his career, things of that nature, how much that helped him. He showed him, that's how a good center in the NFL, a Hall of Fame level center looks, and you have the potential to do that. So that's your blueprint, basically. So. Next up, he talks about the bond with players and getting them to buy in and things of that nature. Like he's very yeah, guys, you guys talk too. It's not just me. Like, how do you guys think we should attack this? How do you guys think we should attack that? And that gets guys to buy in. Like, hey, but we should do this. The guys fighting or however of what to do, or however, instead of fighting because they're losing or however, it's fighting of how to fix it versus just complaining about it, however, why it's failing. So in my opinion, that's a good outlook to have, things of that nature. So. And according to Jeff Stoutland himself, he said that Lane Johnson and Kelsey's absence has been more like helping young guys than usual. Not saying he hasn't before, but like more than usual, or however, in recent or however since Jason Kelsey obviously retired and things of that nature. Obviously in terms of the O-line. Next up, he said that he really likes overall what he has to work with and whatnot. And which is why we'll talk about that a little bit later. Next up, Clint Hurt. He said some very interesting things. He's the D-line coordinator. I have a theory on that, or however, a little bit later. But he's worked with Vic Fangio for 2 years in Chicago. He said that he's always going to try to be aggressive, however, because he said he was asked how aggressive are you guys going to try to be, things of that nature. He said, well, we're always going to try to be aggressive, but it's also about pre-snap awareness, formation backfield sets, and things of that nature. So also situational like things, or however. So. He compliments Jordan Davis' conditioning. He says that if Jordan Davis is in really good shape or however, he's unblockable. He's long, got big arms. You know what I'm saying? So I believe he knows what he's doing and things of that nature. Next up, he really likes Milton Williams, and it sounds like he's really going to push them hard. I think he's going to fit with Fangio perfectly, or however, as a D-line, or however, it starts in the trenches. So if you have somebody that's good at coaching in the trenches, then it's a good sign. Not saying it guarantees anything, but. Obviously, because nothing's guaranteed, but I'm just saying, it sounded like he was really down to business. Obviously, I've always liked Jeff Stoutland or however. But yeah, overall, he sounded like he's down to business. I know we got him from Seattle or however, but yeah. Next up was the pass game / defensive backs coach, Christian Parker. He said that the young guys want to learn and things of that nature, so that's really good. Or however, because some people are like, but I already know everything, just give me the shot or however. But, the young guys want to learn. Things of that nature, and he said that a good defense starts with good players. I mean, that's what everybody's been saying or having. Obviously, it does. Because I know in real life it's not Madden, but in terms of skill level, I mean, if you have like a definite meter, however, you know what I'm saying. That's the only if I'll say it. If you had a definite meter for skill, a 0 overall and can help a team or however. Obviously, you gotta have quality. You know what I'm saying? If Tom Brady was a trash quarterback, obviously he wasn't gonna win anything. But obviously he was great. He was a great player. Starts with the players, and obviously he had Bill Belichick to help, however, and then. Yeah, and then he was saying how Cooper DeJean has good athleticism, things of that nature. He has good ball instincts. He's been playing corner nickel. He's been showing he can handle that and things of that nature. So that's really good. I'd rather see him at corner than safety. But yeah, he said that he also just has to learn like the terminology or however, mostly because he's played in a similar scheme with similar sets in Iowa. But he just needs to learn the terminology and things of that nature versus the technical knowledge. He has most of the technical knowledge and things of that nature. So, yeah, so I think that's really cool. Next up, Bobby King, the linebackers coach. He spoke. He said a couple of interesting things. He said that he really likes Devin White and he likes Zach Bond. He said it, just like most of us, he can't wait to have the pads on, things of that nature. And then he also praised Jeremiah Trotter Jr., saying that, quote, he doesn't make the same mistake twice. He's a very hard worker. He's very high intellect. You know what I'm saying? He's very smart, football-wise and obviously book-wise and all that good stuff. So in terms of that, I'm a big believer in Jeremiah Trotter, not just because of his dad, but I've seen him play. He filled the stat sheet. He wasn't missing a lot of tackles. You know what I'm saying? If it's 12%, nobody's perfect. Nobody's going to make 100% tackles. Show me somebody. Show me an NFL Hall of Fame linebacker that's made 100% of the tackles. Never missed a single tackle a day in their life. He's a kid. He's developing, so he's not going to be perfect. I'm not saying he's the Hall of Fame right now, Pro Bowler. I'm not even saying he's a Pro Bowler. Is he a respectable NFL quality player until I see otherwise? Yes. A quality, respectable role player. That's all I'm saying. What they said Zach Bond is going to be. In my opinion, Zach Bond's a starter. In my opinion. Ben Summer, Glass Mandine. Come on now. Give Bond a chance. He's explosive. He can get picks. He can tackle. Look up all of his New Orleans highlights, things of that nature. So Bobby King, he seems really old school as well. He didn't have a connection with Fangio. And on the defensive side, or however the other two guys did, so that's pretty cool. Or however, next was Doug Nussmeier, the quarterback coach. He just kept talking about communication and team bonding, or however. He said he likes Jalen and Pickett. He's been following Pickett since Pittsburgh, and things of that nature, and then he's been following Jalen or however since like Oklahoma and whatnot, and he's respected his game. In my opinion, the way he sounded or however, he sounded like a soft coach. Everyone else sounded down to business or however, but he sounded like he's not really going to coach Jalen hard because he's like, oh, I don't like to really be hard. I like to have a positive demeanor. And that's literally what he said. And then he was dodging some questions or however, like, oh, how do you feel about this? Oh, well, I feel that we're good in this. I mean, that's not what he asked. He said, how do you feel about this? Not how do you feel about the other thing? So in my opinion, it's kind of dodging questions or however. But I mean, since he worked with him in Dallas, I would assume that would be Kellen Moore's pick. But yeah, I mean, I thought Kellen Moore would have more development in terms of that, cause yeah, but I don't know. In terms of Doug Nussmeier, I don't know, and I have to see it to believe it. Cause so far, I mean, I love Jalen or however. I believe he just needs good coaching and stability and all that, to potentially win a Super Bowl. But the way things are going, I don't know. I mean, quarterback coach is hard to find, and I don't think Doug Nussmeier is it. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. I'm not gonna delete the video. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. But yeah, I don't know if Doug Nussmeier is the guy. Next up, Fangio. Obviously, he worked 2 years with Clint Hurt, the defensive line coach, in the secondary. Christian Parker in Denver. I'm pretty sure they were both top 10, things of that nature. I'll go ahead and put in like his stats right here. However, throughout the years, I'm pretty sure they're both top 10. I'll put the exact number, however, but yeah. Next up, Kellen Moore. I'm pretty sure he just chose. Doug Nussmeier. And in terms of the whole Fangio thing, I'm pretty sure he's trying to do something special in terms of that. Because when he was in Chicago, I remember that Chicago defense was fucking fire with Fangio back, a few years ago. And then same thing in Denver. A few years ago, Denver's defense was pretty freaking scary as well. What I mean scary, top 10, top 15 is above average. Top 10 is scary because there's 32 teams, and then the other 28, 29, 30 or however, you know what I'm saying, 20. I'm sorry, I'm excited, I'm rambling or however, I can do math or however, but just super excited or however. But essentially, I think he's cooking up something special for the defensive end that we're not going to see coming. I think that Clint Hurt's going to really push the defensive line and things of that nature. Christian Parker, I think, is going to push the secondary. He seems like a no bullcrap kind of coach that just really knows his stuff at a younger age. But he's really well spoken, things of that nature. Next up, again, just like I said in the last video, it shows why you need a good GM or however, because for the price of Justin Jefferson, we got A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith, because it was only $130 million for both of them. And then he's getting a 4-year, $140 million, $110 million guarantee. That's the highest non-QB NFL pay of all time. That's non-NFL QB. Absolutely freaking crazy. Next up is going to be a big week for Asbury. The decision most likely will come, Tuesday or however, according to multiple sources or however. And for some odd reason, I mean, I don't mind if he goes or however, but personally, take Slay with you. You know what I'm saying? Because Dejene and Quignon need to start. Not a 35-year-old that just pushes people out of bounds 30 years after the fact and claims to be fast. What's the point of having all that speed if you can't even use it? I mean, just like John Ross or however, obviously he's been in the NFL or however, you know what I'm saying? But obviously all that speed didn't help him then. Injuries, whatever, couldn't stay healthy or however. I fully support him. He's an Eagle now. He got signed or however. I don't know if he'll make the final cut. But essentially, yeah, just take Slay with him for all I care. Next up, for some odd reason, Giants fans are still salty or however. They're saying Saquon fleeced us or however for paying him $12 million a year for him to have a couple 1,000-yard seasons. Rant incoming. Sorry, guys, rant incoming. Check this out. What weapons did he have besides him? Besides him, what decoys did he have? A crappy Mac Jones? Eli Manning at the very end or however, post-Super Bowl run? OBJ maybe for a year? He's been playing for 6 years. He hasn't really had nothing. I mean, who really was on his own line that really had good pass block rating? Show me who. Nothing. Go like fans, comment down below. I'm not gonna block any comments. I'm not gonna delete no comments. I'm not gonna hide no comments. Like literally, whatever point you can say or however he's had no help, yada yada yada. And besides, I understand that that's just how you guys sleep at night or however. But check this out. If he was a fleecing or however, then why did it hurt so bad? And why was he a traitor and all that if he wasn't that good? Only good people are traitors, just like Kevin Durant or LeBron. Different sport here, but they were called traitors. They were called a bad guy, and in New York, he was the bad guy. He's a traitor. Oh, he's dead to us. Yada yada yada. If he was that bad, couldn't stay healthy, then why was he the bad guy? It's usually only good people that are bad guys. It's the team. Y'all are trash. The fans are trash. People say Eagles fans are bad or however. No, Giants fans are. Y'all had a generational talent running back. Tried to drove him into the freaking ground with no O-line, no good quarterback. You know, y'all had one playoff win. And all of a sudden, y'all think y'all are back. Oh, you know, screw everything else. You know, we just need Mac Jones or whatever the hell his name is. After just one playoff win. That Saquon carried you to. Y'all should have paid Saquon. Obviously, I'm happy y'all didn't, but, I mean, it's not a fleecing. Y'all's whole offseason got fleeced. We took Saquon from y'all. We took Devontae Smith not too long ago. And y'all are literally a poverty franchise. I mean, the New York Giants right now are a poverty franchise. I'm sorry to tell you. A poverty franchise. That's what they are. They are a 2 or 3 win team. Saquon got them the 3 or 4 or 5 wins, 6 wins they got last year, however many it was. Saquon got them most of those. There's nothing special about the quarterback. There's nothing special about the wide receivers. There's nothing special about the tight ends. There's nothing special about the O-line. The only thing special was Saquon. That's all they had was Saquon. And now they're going to try to get a dollar store Saquon with Devin Singletary. Like I covered in my last video, they're going to try to see if he's going to be a cheaper version of him or however. But even then, you know, essentially got to pay running back at some point in time if they're generational talent. Can't get away with that forever. Last up, for all the people worrying about Jalen Hurts' interceptions, things of that nature, there's absolutely nothing to worry about. Okay, everyone has weaknesses. Him, you know, he's really bad at throwing over the middle of the field. That's why he threw on the edge to AJ and Smitty and all that, or however. I mean, over 100 attempts, the only person that was worse than him throwing over the middle of the field was Kenny Pickett. But throwing over the middle of the field and everything. So obviously he's trying to work on his weakness, which I can respect. You know, he's heavily targeting the middle of the field or however, so he's heavily changing his play style, heavily changing the plays. I'd rather get out the way now, and practice-wise, if it's going to improve him, that being the asterisk, or the possibility, if it's going to improve him, throw 50 picks at practice if it's going to improve you, if it's going to get you better. I'm not an NFL player. I don't know how it takes to be great or however. I just love football, and I try to give everyone respect, to give my honest opinion, things of that nature. And obviously, Isaiah Rodgers is legit. We have a legit secondary. That's a whole nother thing. On top of the new scheme, on top of the new passing game and all that, or however, trying to target the middle of the field as well, Rodgers is still legit. He was top 5 when he played last. I'll say he lost a few spots. He's still top 15. Out of 32 teams, 64 possible cornerbacks, basically. Just about at the starting or however the case may be. Just about 60, 70 cornerbacks or however on like the starting lineup or however, like the early rotation, 70, 80, out of like the early, you know what I'm saying? I would say still top 15 out of 64 people. That's not bad. Top 15. Hasn't played in a year. Rust, all things possibly considered, he's still pretty solid. And not to mention, guys, for all the Eagles fans worrying about the picks, we got the 2 best corners in the draft. What do you expect to do? Be a bust? I'm just saying. Come on now. How perfect do you want it? We got Saquon. We got C.J. Gardner-Johnson. We got some pretty darn good coordinators and coaching. You know what I'm saying? Like, what more do you guys want? We haven't even played a game yet. Oh, Jalen Hurts is done, blah, blah, blah. It's OTAs. He's working on his weakness. Not everyone is perfect. In football, when I played, I sucked at tackling. I did. I'm not going to lie. I was a horrible football player in a trash league. I wasn't nothing special. I got junior of the year because there's only 4 other people to choose from, and I was tall, and I had a couple of good plays. That's it. But I wasn't nothing special. Or else I'd be in the NFL or however the case, or college or whatever. But I love football nevertheless. You know what I'm saying? And I know how hard practice is. I know how hard it is to deliver in games, you know, and how cool they feel or however. You know what I'm saying? Underneath the lights, you know, and then if you make a good play or however. Everyone has a good play every once in a while, but when you have a good play, you know, they cheer, however, you know. I understand a small percentage, but in terms of to be great, I was okay. I was decent in high school in a trash league. No, I'm not saying I'm an NFL player. I'm nothing, you know what I'm saying? I'm a humble average guy, you know, all that good stuff. But yeah, overall, you know what I'm saying? Nobody's perfect. You know, he again, the 2 top corners in the draft. You got C.J. Gardner. I mean, obviously, you know, I know he's not been at OTAs or however, but I mean, Isaiah Rodgers. Okay. Obviously, Slay's been there a couple times or however with the younger guys or however. And if y'all say he ain't washed, I mean, I didn't hear anything about past breakups, but he has been there a couple times or however here and there. Isaiah Rodgers, obviously. Avonte Maddox, he's been there. When he's healthy, he's a pretty solid player. In terms of can he stay healthy, that's a whole nother business. But when he's healthy, which we have seen a decent sample size, he's pretty solid. I wouldn't trust him at safety. I trust him at the slot, but still, I mean, Avonte Maddox, he's solid. Cooper DeJean, I mean, he's been playing, you know, pretty freaking solid. You know, getting all his little techniques right and all that good stuff. And then same thing with Quinyon Mitchell. I mean, he's literally the best corner in the draft. Do you expect him to be a bust? That's the better question. Instead of why is Jalen Hurts throwing a pick, do Eagles fans expect him to be a bust and not do nothing in OTAs, not impress nothing for being the 21st pick, the 22nd pick, something like that? Do you guys expect him to be a bust and not do nothing? Y'all expect Devin White, who was at one point legitimately a top 5 linebacker, arguably the best linebacker in the league? He had a couple of bass breakups too on Saquon and AJ or however from Jalen. Do you expect him not to be worth $7.5 million? Do you expect him not to have a chip on his shoulder? Like, come on now, you can't both ways. You know, I mean, that doesn't mean Jalen Hurts is bad. I mean, what's he going against? He's going against 2 of the top corners in the draft. At some point, a top 10 linebacker. However, I believe he still has all the health to do it, the athleticism, the know-how, the skills. You know what I'm saying? He has the talent. It was just all mental, I believe, you know, within Philly, you know what I'm saying? We'll have a 10-1 streak and we ain't finna fall apart this time. Maybe a loss every once in a while, okay, you know, we got too cocky, in the playoffs, we win the Super Bowl, hopefully, but, I mean, it's possible. But, next up, speaking of DeJean, he's been starting, things of that nature. I'll go ahead and post that article up there. So, guys, for rambling, it's just like, man, I've been seeing all the comments on Instagram and Twitter and all that, like, oh, Jalen this, Jalen that, Pickett this, Pickett that. Okay, Pickett, I'm not really going to defend. He's the backup. Okay, I believe with this O-line and Saquon taking a lot of the running from him, the fact he can run through people, he doesn't need a quarterback slide or whatever the case may be. The fact he can run through people, I think that he'll take a lot of the yard, and I don't mind it. I prefer Jalen Hurts to work on his throwing. I prefer Jalen Hurts to be more of a thrower or handoff guy to Saquon. With our O-line, we can do that. We can heavily rely on him or however through the regular season or however, like maybe 40-50% of the time have her go through him, and then like 20-30% of the time go to AJ, 10-15-20% go to Smitty, and then you know a little bit to Goddard to throw them off, or some decoys or however. And then the playoffs or however, everyone is is more balanced. I don't know how they're gonna do it, but just somewhat evenly balanced out or however, so then he can do more of the running than Jalen did last year, so Jalen doesn't get banged up again. And then you know what I'm saying, he doesn't hopefully hurt his thumb again or however, but yeah. And either way, I mean, rust is a thing. I mean, no one's going to play 365 days a year. You're going to take, a day off. You're a human being, not a robot. He has family that loves them and all that good stuff. So, in short, in conclusion, I think that Clint Hunt and Christian Parker and Fangio, I think they're going to mean business. I think we're going to see something special. I'm pretty sure whenever they work together in Denver with Fangio, Christian Parker and Fangio in Denver, Clint Hunt and Fangio in 2 years in Chicago. I'm pretty sure they're top 10 or however. Go ahead and post it up here again. But yeah, in terms of Kellen Moore, I like what he's been saying or however. He's been according to multiple reports, he's been doing pretty good and whatnot in terms of talking to everybody, meeting everybody. Obviously, in terms of coaching, he hasn't won a game yet, so I'm not gonna say he's always good. Blah, blah, blah. No. But in terms of communication, bonding with the guys, that's step one. Any new coordinator, you have to bond with the guys. Okay, what are you guys' strengths? Do you like running on the outside? Do you like shallow routes? Do you like boot routes? What do you like? What do you guys like? And then okay, bet I can formulate this and formulate that. Do the cornbread. You know what I'm saying? Do the checks and balances, legislative system, executive branch, things of that nature. But yeah, next up, the Eagles. I don't know if I already covered this, but the Eagles signed offensive guard Matt Sharping. So he's going to join Stoutland University, things of that nature. Absolute beast. He has starting experience. And when I mean beast, he's a solid guy, 6'6", 350. When I say that dude's a Hall of Famer, he's a Pro Bowler, no. You know what I'm saying? This guy, Matt Sharping, he has the solid form. You know what I'm saying? I'm pretty sure he's still pretty young. He's like barely 30 or however. He can still learn some new things, get a little better, as a respectable rotational piece. Never know, you know what I'm saying? That being said, appreciate you guys for watching. I think it's going to do it for today's video. Join the Flyover family if you're new. Be sure to comment and subscribe if you enjoyed the video. Things of that nature. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. Appreciate all the comments, all the feedback, things of that nature. Thanks so much for watching. Philly out. Peace.